Good morning. Welcome to 12 Cast-Ons of Christmas. My name is Kirsty and this is day 5 out of 12 for casting on new projects every day. Today is December 30th, so I have so far kept up with my one new project a day. December 30th, 2024. Only 2 days until 2025 and I'm so excited to see what the new year brings. Today I have my trusty bowl so we can pick out a new project to start today. Now 12 Cast-Ons of Christmas is something that Yarn and Yarns started and I'm joining in with her make along, but I'm also doing my own vlogs along with it to bring you guys along with what I'm starting, because 12 things in 12 days is a lot of things and that would just crowd out a normal podcast for things. But also I didn't do Vlogmas this year and I really wanted to do some kind of vlog thing this year. So I decided 12 days of cast-ons was a much more achievable thing than every day during December. So I'm glad to be here and I'm glad you're here. Before we pick out the one for today, I do want to mention yesterday's one, which I did not get much footage of or make much progress on because I've been working on the dog jumper. I did consider pulling it out this morning and making some more progress on the alley sweater. But I really like the idea of just doing one project a day, starting a new one each day and then putting them away until the end of the 12 cast-ons. So instead of pulling that out, I worked on the dog jumper and that is almost finished. I have about this much of the belly to go and seaming and I think a crochet border. So that one should be done today and hopefully I can take photos or video of our puppy wearing it. She's not a puppy, she's 2 years old, but our dog wearing it. But that also means that shouldn't be taking over my crafting time, and hopefully today I can make a bit more progress on whatever I pick out of the bowl. So if you haven't seen one of these before, I have put over 30 projects into this bowl and every day I'm just picking one out and making whatever it says on it. Some of them are ready to go projects where I have the yarn and wool picked. Some of them I have to be a little bit more creative about what I do and how I make it work. So let's pick today's project. Alright, I have my trusty little llama alpaca paper. Oh, that's upside down. And we have, oh, okay, the Braidley Cob Stitch jumper. This is actually kind of amusing because the yarn that I used, oh, here we go, it's still next to me. The yarn that I used yesterday, I actually cast the Braidley Cob Stitch jumper on with this yarn. And when I did that, I realized I didn't want an oversized plain blue sweater. I've mentioned previously on the 12 cast-ons that I have a lot of blue sweaters, but I also wear just a lot of jeans. And if you can see, the colour of my jean and the yarn is actually very similar. So when I'm wearing an all blue sweater with all blue jeans, it gets a bit samey. So I didn't want an all blue oversized sweater that I would be wearing over jeans almost the same colour. Which is why I'm so happy that I've repurposed that yarn back to its original purpose, which was the alley sweater. And I'm so happy with how that started last night. So the Braidley Cob Stitch jumper, I have other yarn for. I will go grab it and see what I have and need. Alright, so I just grabbed the bag of yarn, Braidley Cob Stitch. When I started reorganising my yarn, I did write on the bags what they were for, just to help keep that straight. But this is yarn that I have for the Braidley Cob Stitch. And yes, it is very similar to what I'm wearing, slightly deeper in tone. I bought this yarn. It is, I believe, Erica Knight yarn. I'll put a picture of the Braidley Cob Stitch up here so you can see that. But the yarn is Erica Knight. I think it's a BFL, Blue Face Leicester, that I bought at, you guessed it, a yarn show in Poland. There are not many yarn shops in Poland and even fewer near where I live, so most of my yarn buying in Poland is at shows. And I usually save up and then I'm able to go and buy bigger quantities for projects. This one was actually very reasonably priced here in Poland, but I wanted like this kind of colour and they didn't have it. It was a bright orange And then I just overdyed it. I added black and overdyed it with some black to get this much deeper colour. And I did it with this project in mind because the person, or the, what's the word? The person, the sweater in the display pic, it's more brown than this, but it's that kind of deep colour, and I really wanted that. And at the time, I could not find any rust, orange, brown kind of colours because it was a few years ago. Now, it's very popular, and I actually saw multiple things at the most recent yarn show that were basically this. But I have this one, I have dyed it, it is all ready to be caked up and started. The alley sweater is 4.5mm needle, so I didn't have to go into my 4mm stash yesterday. But I think I still have 3 pairs of 4mm, an 80, 100 and a 60. So we should be fine, but I have a feeling this is a 4mm. So I'm going to, actually we're going to go out for breakfast. I'll try and remember to show you a little bit of that. But after breakfast, I will cake this up and see if I can get it started. It is a bottom-up construction, and from memory, it is completely pieced. When I cast it on with the blue, my plan was to adapt the pattern to just be worked in the round and then split for the body. I'm not sure if I'll do that again. It is a lot of purling if I go back and forward, so I probably will. I do know that sometimes when I adapt patterns, just the amount of brain power that it takes to make those changes can take away from my enjoyment of the knitting. So I'll see when I go to it whether I'm like, oh yeah, this is a very simple thing, which it should be, or whether it's doing my head in and I just want to do it pieced and get it over with. I don't know whether the sleeves are knit flat and then pieced together, or even knit in the round and then seamed in, or whether the front and back are knit flat and then you pick up stitches and knit down. Either way, I will probably knit the sleeves in the round down, just because why would I not? But I have bought the pattern. I have the pattern printed, so I'll go find that and have a look and see what construction I feel like doing. But even if I'm doing it in the round, I'll still do it bottom up. I'm not going to try and completely reverse engineer the pattern. I am excited. When I put, this is Country Girl, made in Bendigo Woolen Mills classic 8-ply. When I pulled this out today, I was like, I really like this jumper, and I like it's got more ease than a lot of my other ones, drop shoulder construction. I was like, I'd really like another jumper like that. And so I'm really excited that I get another jumper like this in a similar colour. We'll have a similar fit. In fact, I may even measure this one to see how much ease I want on my Bradley Cop stitch. So there you go. I am excited that these jumpers that I have been sitting on for a couple of years are finally coming to fruition. another day, another cast on. It is day 5 of the 12 Cast-Ons of Christmas, and I cannot believe that I have started 5 different projects in the last 5 days. 6, if you include my bonus cast-on of the dog sweater. Wowzers. It has been a roller coaster so far. You will have seen before I did finish the dog sweater, the dog coat, and Abby has been wearing it and is so much happier now that she's warm again. I haven't weighed to see how much yarn it took, but I'm estimating between 300 and 400 grams of yarn for that. So that was really nice. That I did a lot of it in the morning before I was able to come up here and record the choosing of the project for today. But then I did focus on that this afternoon because poor Abby was just so cold. So I didn't even cake up the yarn for my sweater until after dinner and after the kids were in bed. Now, I have printed off this pattern in full. I go back and forth between printing off patterns in full because you will have seen before the way I store my patterns, and having a title page is actually really helpful for knowing which pattern it is so clearly, so quickly. But this pattern, I realised it has 11 pages in the pattern and only 2 pages of actual pattern. Now that's not including like the yardage requirement page / measurements page. But even with that, I think there's only 3 pages of like actual useful pattern. And so it feels a little bit ridiculous that I've printed off 11 pages for those 3, 4 if I include the title page. Yeah, I will keep them all with this, and if I decide I don't need to keep all of the full page photos, then I will put them into my kids' scrap paper drawer for them to draw and craft on. That's fine. But yeah, just if you decide to do this pattern and you want to print it off, maybe don't do what I do. Choose the pages you actually want. Alright, so the cast on, I did decide to do it in the round. But I decided not to play with numbers. So I know last time I did it, there's an odd number of stitches and it's a 1x1 rib. And so last time I took a stitch away from each side to make it like that you would assume would be the seaming stitch. And then I think I tried to make it an even number or something. And then I tried to do 2x2 rib. I made a few mods. And then when I started doing the 2x2 rib, I realised that I was 2 stitches out because it needs to be divisible by 4, not by 2. This one, I didn't do anything. I just cast on the recommended number of stitches, and I was like, if I'm 4 stitches bigger in the circumference, I don't mind. Again, not gauge swatching, and I'm doing size medium, which is, it recommends, I think, 12 inches of positive ease, around 30 centimetres. I'm doing the pattern that will give me around 8 inches. I did measure this, and believe it or not, this one is 4 inches of positive ease when I'm lying it, when I've got the sweater flat on the ground, 4 inches. And like I said before, I really like this one, but because the design is for 12 inches, I didn't feel comfortable going down 2 sizes, so I just went down the 1 size. And so it'll be more ease than this sweater, but should still be good. However, I also did that for yarn purposes. The yarn that I have should be enough to do the medium, but is not enough to do the large. And so if I did the recommended ease, I wouldn't have enough yarn. So I decided to go down and do the medium, still have more ease than this, but yeah, recommended will be fine. Less than recommended, sorry. So I did end up only caking up 1 skein today because we played the Back to the Future board game, which we have owned for 3 years and never actually played. And my goodness, it was fun and we won, but it was like 11th hour win. Man, it was intense. Like it felt like we were in the movie and everything was going wrong and we're like, we just need to do the thing. Anyway, we won. But it meant that I only caked up 1 skein and I didn't make a huge amount of progress on the knitting. So this is what I have done. Hang on. Now it's all tangled up. My goodness, this is tangled up. Something like that. There we go. Look familiar? It is, I guess, 1 2/3 this time rows. So it is a 1x1 rib to start, and it is 3.25mm needles, which is what is recommended. So it's quite small needles for a 1x1 rib, and it's going to be oversized. Yeah, so I haven't even finished the first row. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first row. But it is started, and I figured out my size. I will do it in the round, and it is completely knit pieced, or designed for pieced. And so it's designed that you knit the sleeves and then seam them on. I'm just going to pick up stitches and knit them down. I'm not bothering with that. And this will be in the round until it gets to where I split for the sleeves, and then I will go in the 2 separate pieces. So that's fine. What else about this? So far, it's really easy. It doesn't have a huge amount of ribs, so once I actually am able to sit down and do it, the rib shouldn't take too long, and then I can get into the pattern. I did have a bit of a chuckle because Ange from Yarn and Yarns, I was watching her previous Cast-Ons, 12 Cast-Ons episodes, and one of them she said, often it feels like you're just doing rib. Like every day you just sit down and it's like, I'm doing the rib of this sweater, I'm doing the rib of this glove, I'm doing the rib of this sock, and it's just 12 days of rib. And I had a bit of a chuckle when I saw that, because I know how much that can be true when you're doing casting on lots and lots of things. And so for this day, today, to be like, I've done almost an entire row of rib on a quite large circumference, in lots and lots of stitches, and then 2 days ago to have been like, I've done half a row of rib on lots and lots of stitches, and then yesterday to be like, I've done quite a lot of rib but only on a few stitches. I'm like, yeah, 12 days of ribbing. No, it's not that bad. And I don't mind, because these are projects that I've wanted to do and I just haven't cast them on, and now it's cast on. It's like I can pick it up and do ribbing. That's totally simple. So it will get done. Now I do have the 5th stitch marker, so I'm going to put that on here somewhere, on part that I have actually done some of the ribbing, so I can put it into a stitch. Where are we? Come on. And close it. Look at that. 5. Day number 5. My friend who's visiting us at the moment, as I pulled out my yarn winder and yarn swift to cake up this yarn this evening, she's like, do you do this every night? And I was like, no, it's a special thing where I'm starting 12 new projects in 12 days, and that means I need to cake up yarn more often. She's like, oh, okay. But my husband was like, yeah, she does it all the time. Not every night, come on. But yeah, so that was pretty amusing. Yeah, look, that's it for today. I'm going to put the pattern away, put this away, and go to bed. But you will have seen, I'll put a photo up here as well, but you will have seen Abby with her coat, and that is done. So tomorrow I should be able to get a bit more done. The other thing that I'm finding about doing cast-ons is casting on usually takes a bit of energy, a little bit of thinking power and things, right? So tomorrow we are going to go for a walk in the forest. We are going to have a bit of a New Year's Eve party, not going too late, but having a bit of a New Year's Eve party. And so I know that I'm going to have time to sit and knit, but I don't know how much of that knitting time will be thinking knitting time and how much will be mindless knitting time. So I'm hoping that whatever I get tomorrow will be mindless enough that I can do it while playing games with people in the evening. But maybe it won't be. And I might have to pull out another project to work on the evening so I can keep playing games. So we'll see. But this is another day of the 12 Cast-Ons, day number 5. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been delightful to do this, and I'm so excited to keep going with the 12 Cast-Ons of Christmas. Have you been inspired to cast something on? I'm interested. I am also excited for Ange to start posting her actual cast-ons because she hasn't started doing that yet. So, but also, as I'm recording this, by the time this is posted, she may have, because I didn't get to post day number 4 yet. So I'm going to keep recording, and then when I can edit and post, I will do that. Yeah. So let me know how you're going with things. If you're not casting on all the new things, what are you working on? And I will be back tomorrow morning with another cast on. Bye.